Played some Axis and Allies the other day with a friend online, and I filmed the whole game. There's the guy, Lord von Stauff. He names his online handle after this guy who tried to blow up Hitler in World War II. Tom Cruise played him in a 2008 movie. Oop, he almost got Hitler. Almost. It's a pretty good movie. Anyway, join the game. I'm playing the Axis today. Or I was. This commentary is actually after the game. I played Germany and Japan. That little beeping noise is the chat on Steam. If someone sends you a message, that's like the message noise, the little boop thing. I enlarged the chat so you can read it easier, at least the relevant chat anyway. Okay, here's the map of Europe. I'm having trouble with the chat window. It actually... I fix it later, but like... It's troublesome. I edited out most of the trouble I have with the chat, trying to alt-chat, tab over to the chat bar. I cut most of that out of the video. Here's the war report. Got lots of data on here. Those things at the top are really important because you need those cities to win. I didn't know these the first time I played online. But up top here, like... These are the cities that you need to capture to win the game. You need to capture enough of those to win. It's different for the Axis and Allies. The Axis actually has to capture less. The Axis only has to capture 9 cities. The Allies have to capture 10 cities. So he's doing... It's the Soviet team's turn first, and he's doing his combat moves. He's moving into Western Russia. That always falls to Russia first, because they go first in this version. The yellow lines, that's him moving his troops into attack, basically. We're both pretty good players. We played the board game for years. Like, we don't make that many mistakes. Well, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I make a few. He's going from Karelia into the Baltic states. He probably wants to create a buffer. If he can make a buffer between Germany and Russia, Germany can't charge Russia so fast. So he's going to take the Baltic states over, make it to where I can't move where I want. He's moving planes. The red is planes. Aircraft. So he's flying a fighter all the way over to Baltic states. The fighters have a range of 4. They can move like 4 spaces, which all the borders on the map sections are basically a space, and a fighter can fly 4 sections. Combat, that means he's going to start actually attacking. Lord von Stauffenberg. Why did it change his name in the game room? I don't know. In this version, the defender doesn't get to roll his own dice. Like, the computer just like rolls your dice for you when you're defending. And you don't get to pick what units you sacrifice either. It's just like the computer does that. But if you're attacking, you get to pick your hits on your units if you're attacking, and you get to press all the dice roll buttons. For defender too. There's the IPC thing down there. That's really cool. You can tell how much damage was done in the game. Or the round or whatever. So he took over the Baltic states. Now he's attacking West Russia. He's probably going to take it over. The thing about the artillery is one artillery can make one infantry attack at 2 when an infantry normally attacks at 1. But an artillery can bring along with it and make an infantry attack at 2 basically, so it makes it equal to the artillery piece. One thing I don't like about this dice rolling graphic is, like, you can actually see the results before the dice are done rolling. It's kind of dumb. Like, the dice should roll, and then the result should, like, read on there. Because it should be dramatic. It should be, the dice should actually be how you find out the hits. Because that's what's fun about dice games. But you can actually see the results before the dice are even done rolling. It's kind of dumb. But I just ignore, like, the readout. I just watch the dice. So I don't, like, spoil it for myself. And in this game, if you haven't played Axis and Allies, even defending destroyed units get to hit back one time, just one time. Like, if they're destroyed that round, they still get to roll a hit back. Not attackers, though. If an attacker unit is destroyed, it's out of the game immediately. It's out of the round immediately. That's how Axis and Allies works. Even the tabletop game is the same way. See, I took a lot more damage. I lost $19 worth of stuff. Industrial production capacity. I think that's what it means. IPC. So he took over both the spaces he wanted. Now he's doing his non-combat moves. Moving his Soviet sub over to join the British so that it's less vulnerable. Non-combat moving a tank from the east into Karelia. I'm walking a guy into the Caucasus. I actually want to take over the Caucasus because if you put an industry somewhere, you can only buy as many units as the industrial production capacity is. Like those spaces that you see with a 2 on them. If I were to build an industry there, you can only place 2 units around. That's it. But the Caucasus has 4, so I can like place 4 around, and it's a long walk from Germany. It actually takes a round to move from Germany unless it's just tanks. It takes the infantry a long time, and it'd be really good to have infantry right there because it's cheaper than tanks. He's moving some Soviets in the Far East. He's walking some guys around. He's changing his mind, I think. Like, he started moving that tank east. Like, maybe he decided that tank should go east and help with Japan. I don't know what he's doing. Never mind. No, he didn't change his mind. It's going to Karelia. It looks like it's going east. It's just weird looking. This is the first game I bought on Steam. This is like the first one. I'm trying to decide what else to play on here. I've thought about Halo 3. Because you can't just play Axis and Allies all the time. It's fun. It's fun once in a while, but I'm not sure what my second game should be on this website. Mobilization. Mobilization means placing your units. He's already bought units, and you have to like place them on the board. That's all that means, is you have to put them where an industry is. I want to hold Caucasus. Caucasus is really valuable, but it's really hard to take it and then hold it another round. Because on the first round, you can't, after you take an industry from an enemy, you actually can't place units the first round after you take it. Because you're slowed down. It's like you have to hold it around before you can start placing units there. And that makes it's really hard to hold, you know, but I would love to take the Caucasus and hold it around. Then I could just put like 4 infantry there. And Germany would have all those infantry up by Russia instead of having to walk them over. But taking and holding it is really hard. You have to take it with a lot of stuff left over, and it's not easy. So a lot of times, people that play Germany, they end up buying just tanks, and that's expensive. You're actually spending a lot of money if you buy just tanks for Germany. Okay, I'm going. I'm going to take the Baltic states back. I'm putting everything in there I can. Because I have to move troops up anyway, so I may as well attack them forward, right? Because I got to walk them towards Russia anyway. So move everything forward I can. Transports are kind of tricky. You want to just click on the transports, then start right-clicking the guys you want to pick up, and then just hit the space you want to invade. Like if it's 2 spaces away, don't try moving your transport. Just click the space, you know, and the transport will move itself. I had trouble with that when I started. I tried to move the transport to the space, and then, like, why doesn't it want to move? But no, just, if you can land troops somewhere, just click the space, and your transport will go there. I want to take the Caucasus. I totally want to take the Caucasus over. I'm not even going to take back Western Russia. I'm not even going to do it. I want this. I want to put a lot of guys there, so I can maybe hold it around if I get lucky. Then I can start placing units. Got a fighter. Crossing the Black Sea, that's 4 spaces. I should be able to land in the same zone I flew from. It'd be nice to take over Egypt in the first round, but it's too hard to do. And you have to be really lucky, so I'm not even trying. I want to pile guys on the Caucasus. You can pick up a 2 infantry or two artillery, I think. But strangely though, this is really weird. Like, this is different from the board game version. You can actually pick up an infantry and 1 tank. In the board game version, you couldn't do that. If you carried a tank, you could only carry the 1 tank and nothing else. But you can carry a tank and an infantry in the online version. And you gotta sink ships. You gotta sink Allied ships. You can't let the British have a humongous navy. You gotta make them buy more ships, because otherwise they're gonna be landing troops in Europe and there's nothing you can do about it. You need the British spending lots of money on ships, so they're not just invading you and causing you all kinds of problems. So you want to spend the first few rounds just sinking British ships like crazy. If you play the Germans, you gotta sink ships. You gotta do it. Because if they get a humongous navy out there that you can't even think of attacking, then they can just attack Europe every round. They can land troops every round in Europe. So start sinking stuff right away. I got almost everybody moved. I want every guy possible attacking. I don't want anybody standing around that could possibly be doing something. End phase. Go to next phase. That means start the combat. Next, and that'll start one of the battles. So this time I'm rolling the dice because I'm attacking. Infantry only hit on a 1. I got 1. That's good. That's actually good odds. Well, I actually got 3 hits. That was actually good. Times 3. But there was hardly any guys to hit, so. Dang, it's kind of a waste of luck. My shore bombardment. A 4 lower will hit. Oh, it's no, it's AA. It's AA got me. They hit on a 1. Dang. Dude. I'm not sure what happened there. That's about right. That's about how the odds should be. 1 to 3 hits with tanks and fighters when they attack. Nope, he's attacking me. Defending or whatever. Two hits, that's good odds. That's good. Good luck. That's all. I even destroyed the AA gun, which is the old board game. You couldn't actually destroy AA guns, any aircraft guns or whatever. They just kind of like were white things that just stayed there. You could actually capture them. But in this version, you actually blow up AA guns. I always watch the IPC count. Well, I took it over. I got 3 tanks and 2 artillery left. Those 3 fighters can't stay there, though. They have to leave, so they can't defend. Got 4 submarines. Cruisers hit on a 3. Battleships take 2 hits to destroy, which are really cool. That's why I like battleships. And if they come through the round, they actually automatically repair. They just come back the next round with 2 hit points left again. So you have to hit it twice to destroy a battleship. It's not like there's ever an injured battleship the next fight or anything. There's the battleship. It's out. It still gets to hit back, though. And it missed. They hit on a 4 or lower, so that getting a 5 with the battleship attacking was really good. It's a big relief. It's like one of the biggest reliefs in the game. Look at that. 12 to 33. I gotta land my planes. Move some guys into Libya. I only have Germany or Italy to put units onto. And I pretty much normally place everything on Germany. It's the British turn. He's bringing his transports from Canada. Oh my god, he's invading France already. Ah! I only left like 1 infantry there. The way this guy plays, he likes to dogpile Germany. He likes to bring the Americans over onto Germany and just try to put as much pressure on Germany, pretty much from everybody. That's usually what he does. He doesn't even usually go after the Japanese very much. He typically believes in just getting Germany. He's got stuff down in Australia, India, so he'll be making moves down there, and he is. Looks like he's going after Sumatra. He's got a carrier and a cruiser in India with a plane on the carrier, I believe. Yeah. And I got a carrier and a battleship and 2 fighters. That's a pretty good defense, man. And he's bringing another plane from Egypt. He won't be able to land that without the carrier, though. That one from Egypt. Yeah, if there's no carrier there, he won't be able to land it. He'll be out of fuel. I got an AA gun, though. I do have that. That's good. I got one. Haha. I shot a plane down. That's good. That's funny. Okay, now the sea zone battle. If I get lucky here, I might do well. Dang, lost a fighter already. Both his cruisers are gone, that's good. Even losses for as far as monetary value. That plane, I wonder if that's the one that came from Egypt. I hope it is, because it'll crash. Ooh, I nuked India. I was sick of it being there, so I dropped an A-bomb on it. No, that was a Filmora effect. I'm just messing around. I guess that was the plane on the carrier, because that's the only way it would have made it back. He always watches the range. Like, when the game was going on, I was actually wondering how it made it back, because like it seemed like the Egyptian plane made it back to Egypt, and like, that ain't possible. Then it was actually the one on the carrier that flew all the way back to Egypt. The carrier's dead, so it had to go somewhere, and he went back to Egypt with it. And I was actually wondering that during the game. I was like, there's no way that flew back. How'd that get back there? But he, you know, when he sacrificed a fighter, he just sacrificed the one that didn't have that much range left. The British non-combat moves. He flew a plane into Karelia. He's walking that guy up from South Africa. It's my turn. Japanese. Buying my units. It's always good to buy an industry for Japan right off the bat. I didn't do this for a long time. I thought I could just use transports. And industry's 15 IPCs, so that's kind of expensive. So I like to buy ships for the Japanese, but it's actually this von Stauffenberg guy that convinced me that you have to buy an industry for Japan at the start. You have to buy one right away. I didn't want to do it for a long time, but it's kind of important. It's expensive, but important. Especially the British have one in India to start out with. That's not normal in the board game. Yeah, he's got his transports out of range. I want to shoot them up, but they're just too far from my fighters. So that he keeps his transport safe. You know, he like keeps it out there, and I can't reach it and fly back. If I leave a unit exposed, man, he murders him. That's what he does. Like if I land a bomber on an island, he'll send a bomber out there to bomb the bomber. Like anything that's exposed, he'll just destroy it because it costs money to replace. He does it. He's real bad about that. See, I'm not really that interested in attacking the American fleet in Hawaii. I'd rather focus on Asia. And part of my fleet from Japan can't even make it on the first round. It's too far away. I can only attack it with these. The only thing that can make it from Japan is a bomber. That can help. But I can't just destroy the American Navy in this version. There's too much. There's too many sea hexes, which makes it more fun, I guess. But the Japanese just can't pile everything onto Hawaii like they can in the original Axis and Allies version. I mean, I'm glad the map's bigger. I mean, that's a good thing. That's my bomber from Japan. The fighters can't make it. The bombers have a range of 6, whereas the fighters only have a range of 4. Going to take Buryatia SSR. Buryatia SSR, is that how you say it? Take that over. Start pushing the Russians back right away. It's a good idea. Because they don't have a lot up there defending, so just take them 5 guys out and start shoving on the Soviets from the east. It's always a good idea. My transport will be safe if I send it up there. It's out of range of his fighters. He can't sink my transport if I... His transports can't defend. If you leave your transport by itself, he basically gets a free kill. He basically goes in and blows it up with a plane. He can't even shoot back. The old version of the board game, the transports had a defensive 1. The newer versions, they just decided transports have no ability to fight at all. They can pretty much move guys, and that's it. Moving into Yunnan. Take that out from them. These green guys, they're supposed to be Chinese, like Chinese soldiers, but they just call them Americans for the game, for simplicity's sake, because they got to go on somebody's turn. So they sort of, this game makes them into Americans. It's kind of weird, but like, you can only have so many, you know, players, so we supported China, I guess. And a lot of their pilots were American. A lot of the Chinese pilots were actually Americans. The Flying Tigers. Buryatia. Is that how you say it? I missed. My bombardment missed. Infantry attack on a 1, so they're not that great, really. I mean, you can have a lot of them and do a lot of missing with infantry. The Japanese don't start with a lot of tanks, so their tanks are kind of like their fighters. You really got to use their fighters in your first round ground attacks. I buy tanks later. That's one of the reasons I buy an industry now with Japan, is I want Japanese tanks on the field. This is taking a while. He has to get a hit. His last shot back. So I capture with 1 infantry. That's crazy. Okay. So I captured it, and I captured the Russian Far East too. Man, my fighter and cruiser missed. Oh, my bomber missed. That's crazy. Okay. This may not be good. I'm not sure what that surprise attack with the submarines does. I mean, it goes first. The subs always go first. What does that do? I'm not even sure what that accomplishes. I have to sink something. Might as well sink my carrier. By the end of the game, almost nobody has carriers left. That's just how the game is. All the carriers get blown up and nobody replaces them. I mean, unless you got lots and lots of money, nobody can afford to replace those things. And by the time you can afford them, you pretty much won. So you try to keep your carriers alive in the game, but very few people playing this game purchase new ones. Battleships too. No one buys new battleships, so you want to keep them alive, like as much as you can. Oh, all I got left's a fighter. I'm gonna retreat my bomber. Why have it shot down for nothing? That was actually kind of dumb. Like, I had better odds. I think he only had a carrier left. I should have kept going. Attacking Yunnan. Fighter missed, of course, of course. Not many places I can land my bomber. Wake Island. He can get attacked though. He can get like strafed on that island by his plane. Yeah, because he's got a carrier right there. I didn't realize that during the game. I thought the way the screen makes it look when I was actually playing the other day, it looked like the fighter was on the island, so it makes it look like it has a limited range. Like, but it was actually on the carrier, so it could fly a lot farther than I thought. It's on the carrier, basically gets to skip, like, that's not even a movement to leave the carrier, it's free. I ended up landing it in the Solomons and it got blown up by a fighter, basically, because I wasn't thinking of it being on the carrier. Yeah, I thought about landing my bomber on Wake Island, but I changed my mind here. Here's what messed me up, I think, with Hawaii, with that fighter that attacks me in a minute. He still had a fighter on land in Hawaii, and because he still had a carrier, the computer version of this game allows you to take off from your carrier, even if you're on the island. So he had an extra movement to get to the Solomon Islands. And in a minute, I'm going to move my bomber down to the Solomons, and that's why my bomber got blown up. That's the difference between the board game and the computer version. Because in the board game, if you want people to know that your fighter is in the C zone on the carrier, you place your little plastic fighter on top of the carrier. That's how you play it. Like, hey everybody, my fighter is in the C zone, so I have more range. But in the computer version, it can be, if it's on an island, the carrier's on the C zone, it's just that the plane can fly from the carrier. It's just the computer allows it. It kind of messed me up down here. Because here I decided my bomber was too close on Wake Island, and I moved it, and it still didn't help me. And here's where I do it. I move it farther, so he doesn't assassinate my expensive unit. Because he likes to take out expensive units that you leave vulnerable. I always forget to land all my aircraft. But the game reminds you to land your aircraft, though. Okay, it's the Americans' turn. Well, not quite. Wait a minute. Not yet. Mobilization. So I can't place anything on that industry I just placed. I have to put everything on Japan. Next turn, I can put things on that industry. Yeah, he typically goes after Europe. Like, when he plays Americans, he typically sends everything after Europe. That's typically what this guy does. He believes in taking out Germany. This is him moving the screen, by the way. This ain't me. This is him, I think. He's looking around. It kind of gives away what you're thinking a little bit. He's moving his Pacific Fleet. See, during the game, this surprised me. Like, what the heck is he doing down in the Solomons? He doesn't have nothing down there. It's like, what the heck? I was wondering how his fighter made it back to Egypt. I didn't realize it was the carrier plane that went back to Egypt. That sea battle was awful. That's me. Solomons ain't actually worth anything. It's not actually worth any money to take it over. You can land planes there, but it doesn't have any IPC value. I'm still having trouble with the chat window. Oh yes, that's Lord von Stauffenberg. Oh, I left 2 fighters in Manchuria. I don't have any infantry, so if I take hits, they go right to my fighters. Those are 10 IPCs apiece. He's got, I think, only 1 infantry? No, 2 infantry and a fighter? So if he takes hits, he loses infantry. That was a mistake. I mean, his attack odds aren't that great. He has an attacking of 3 with 2 that attack out was 1, but the consequences are going to be I lose more expensive stuff. See, this really frustrated me. I didn't understand how he could do all this. You got a battleship, a fighter, and 2 infantry. I guess a transport was close enough. His whole reason for doing this was to kill my bomber, because it's expensive. So if I just took 1 more shot, blew up that carrier, then that fighter wouldn't have made it. He couldn't have sent that fighter there without that carrier. The carrier's only defended a 2, and I was attacking at a 4 with my bomber. I should have rolled another dice, took the carrier out, and went and landed. Big mistake. Terrible. Lost a $12 bomber. So I missed most of this. I was messing with the chat window and I missed most of this fight. But I got really lucky here. He attacks with 2 infantry and a fighter and all 3 missed. Then I took out his 2 infantry, so I did pretty good on this one. I missed all the dice rolling on this. Lucky there. He lost 2 infantry and I didn't lose a fighter, so that was good. He would have took over my industry, and I couldn't have placed anything on it. It would have been bad. It would have been a really good move for him to take that industry over. He took a risky move. It was risky, like power-wise, as far as attack power and defense power. It was risky, but the reward was really high. If he got lucky, it would have been a really bad thing for me. Americans are landing in Africa. He's getting ready to harass Europe. He's basically landing in British territory. He's not taking anything over. But like the next turn, he can just land in Europe. He can like take his pick of where he wants to land, you know. He could land in Italy, France, North Africa, and I don't know where. And his transports are out of range of my planes in Europe, so my planes can't even reach down there, and they're safe. I kind of want to take over Alaska. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I like to land in Alaska just to put pressure on America. It's something that I'm like the only one among our friends that does it. I just like to invade the North America. The hope is that they buy like 5 tanks in North America and don't spend money on ships to mess with Germany. And I don't know, it's not really worth it, but I do it. Yeah, he typically likes to dogpile Germany. He likes to throw everything at Germany and to make them collapse. He's putting something in the east. He's put something in the west too. He's putting stuff in both oceans. Soviet's turn. He's gonna take back Caucasus, of course. He just rolls right through Romania, Bulgaria. I think that's what that space is called. I don't have anybody in it, so he can like roll it, because tanks move too. And if you can like roll through an empty space to attack another space, and you conquer that space, he gets the IPC for the empty space, even though he just rolls through it. It's messed up. So if you leave something unguarded, you don't have at least 1 infantry in a space. He did it up north too. He did it in Belarus, attacking the Baltic states. He rolled a tank through to the Baltic states. And he'll claim that. He'll basically take that over and get the money for it, because I didn't have anything guarding it. Even though he's rolling through, he gets the money. I mean, he takes it from me. There goes. See, he conquered him. Just because he rolled through. It's already over. I get to hit back. No, I still got 2 tanks. Never mind. There's 3 tanks there. That was weird. I got 1 hit. That was really strange. I don't understand that. Like, it didn't seem like I got all my rolls or something. Like, maybe part of the sequence. I don't know. It's strange. I think maybe I edited part out of it because I went into my chat window a lot and I chopped a lot of that out. I figured out how to go into the chat room really easy. Like, I just enlarged the chat to full screen, and then when I alt-tab, it goes right to it pretty smoothly. I'm actually telling Stauffenberg this. Found out how to keep the chat bar handy. Keep it enlarged, and the alt-tab brings it up first every time. Always. He's going after Karelia, of course. No, he's never mind. He's moving in there. He's got it. He didn't lose Karelia. See, I'm going to do the same thing he did. I'm going to roll through Belarus into Western Russia. Take them both, because they're both empty. He's not guarding either one, so I'm taking them both with one tank. I need to move those forward anyway, so just... Finally, I'm attacking Karelia. See, here's a big mistake I made too. Russia does not border Karelia. And if you take Karelia, like, he can't attack with units in Russia that he just put on the board the next turn. So, it's actually better to take Karelia, even though you can only place 2 units at a time on it. It can't be immediately taken back by units from Russia, so... The Caucasus was a mistake, attacking that, because he can immediately take it back. And I can never put infantry up in the front. So Karelia is better. It's better to take over Karelia than the Caucasus in the south. Just because he can't immediately retake it. I like that 4. I love that big 4 on the Caucasus, though. If you can hold it, you can put 4 guys there, 4 infantry there, and then the Germans can finally economize, because the Germans can't economize. They end up having to buy just tanks, and it gets expensive, because you keep losing tanks every time you get a hit. And the Germans just get wore down. All their tanks get blown up. And at some point they don't have enough money. And if you can economize the Germans a little bit, they can hold out longer. And typically Japan has a lot of potential to grow and increase the size of their empire. Japan gets some open field running. They really get a chance to expand. And if Japan can expand fast enough, they can save the game for both the Axis. They can save the game for both of them. Germany just has to hold on. That's typically how the game goes. It's not really like history or anything, you know. The game has its own tendencies or whatever. This attack on the Caucasus, it's just going awful. It's just terrible. It's like... I just retreat. Couldn't even take the Caucasus back. So attacking the Caucasus was a big mistake. You have to attack Karelia, I think. Because you can hold it. You can actually hold it for an extra turn. I got 11 infantry, 4 tanks, and 2 fighters. He's got 7 infantry and 3 artillery. And a tank. I thought I had overwhelming odds, but in hindsight, my odds aren't really that much. I mean, his odds might be a little better because he's got 10 that defend at 2, as opposed to my 11 that attack at 1. I mean, he's got 3 fighters, but I got 4 tanks and 2 fighters that all attack at 3. So I might have slightly better odds, but he was just getting better luck here. And I didn't take it over. And 11 infantry, you think, wow, I got a lot of stuff, but they only attack at 1, so you can get a lot of missing with infantry. It's really frustrating. So I'm just getting like mauled here. My infantry were not doing good. They all missed there, that's good. I'm hoping for some crazy luck right here. He's digging into my tanks now. Not good. I retreat. So he holds Karelia too. This is really bad. Really bad for me. Couldn't take over a single Russian space. So that means, oh, he's going to attack next turn. It's just... It's not looking good for Germany right now. I lost more value and then I didn't take nothing over. That's great. That's terrific. He follows the math better than I do. I'm more strategy based, but he's like it crunches the numbers a lot more than I do. Like, I thought when I attacked Karelia, I had really good odds, but you look at it twice, it's like I had slightly better odds than he did. Like, just I mean, I don't know, man. He 10 defending at 2, 11 attacking at 1, but I had 6 attacking at 3. He had 1 defending at 3. Then he had 3 defending at 4. I'm not going to add up all the numbers, but I don't know. Might even be, I don't know, maybe they're in his favor. I don't want to add it all up. I never got to that level of math in high school, let's put it that way. If I got a calculator, I could probably figure it out, but... Putting a few on Italy because he's got them guys down in Africa hanging out. Here's something I forgot to do. I didn't realize it until like my turn was already over. This is really dumb, dude. I forgot to take France back. I just totally neglected it. I was thinking so much about Russia. Totally forgot. Didn't even think about it. He's got 1 infantry there and 1 cannon. I could have took him back pretty easily. Didn't even bother to take France back. That's 6 IPCs. That's money. That's bank money. The British turn? Yeah, the British start with that industry in India. That makes it pretty hard for the Axis. Sumatra. He's attacking Sumatra. Well, East Indies, whatever. So I lost another territory. Terrific. There's something I didn't understand when this fight first happened, but submarines can like pretty much leave the fight. They can like sneak out of the fight or whatever. And my cruiser gets blown up. And I go to hit back, I guess, and my subs just leave. Like, it's kind of good, I guess. So I got my cruiser got blown up, but my subs like slipped out. The subs cannot attack planes. Like if he attacks a fleet entirely with planes, my subs can't even fire. They don't even get a shot at planes. But I think the way it works, I think planes get 1 shot at a sub, and then the subs get to sneak away. So if someone's got a bomber and he attacks a submarine, and the bomber misses, like the submarine can he doesn't get to keep shooting at the sub because sub gets to like leave. Well, he doesn't leave. He stays in the same space, but the bomber gets basically 1 hit on him and 1 chance, and the sub sneaks away or something. So it's kind of cool. Subs are kind of good. They're a little less vulnerable to air attack. So that's cool. That's a good rule. I think we used to do that with the house rules and with the board game too. We used to do something similar. That is a big advantage for the Allies. Just starting in India with an industry already built is just really hard on the Japanese. Japanese turn. Now that I got an industry I can place upon, I'm just going to buy 3 tanks. I'm going to make sure I buy 3 tanks every turn. It's got 3 industrial capacity. I can place 3 tanks there every turn. When this happens, the Japanese expand really quickly. sinking his transports. He left 2 transports exposed. No defense. I'm just sinking them. They don't even get a defense. But he took over a 4 IPC island. That's like bad though. I don't know how I'm going to take it back. I'm going to attack Angwei. Take that one over. Just move into there. I think that territory is called Yakut or something. So yeah, and I took 2 spaces over. They're only 1 value, but I rolled through 2 of them. Start rolling the Soviets back. Cut down their income so the Germans can maybe take them over. That's the goal. You typically win the game with the Japanese. That's typically how it works. Germany has to hold on while the Japanese go supersized French fries, man. They take everything over. The Japanese can really be hard to stop. But my fleet's not doing as good as the Japanese normally do. In this version, like, the ocean's bigger, so they can't just slam the Americans right off the outset. Like only half my fleet can attack the Americans in Hawaii, so they defend a lot better. So the American Navy is kind of stronger in this one in the Pacific. They're better, and it's hard for the Japanese to just do whatever they want. So it's kind of, in some ways, it's a better version. The Americans and the Japanese are more balanced. The Japanese just don't take over the whole Pacific like they do in some of the old board game versions. But still, in Asia, on the continent, the Japanese can just, like... I think that's why they started the British with an industry in India, because the Japanese have always been too strong, so they just, okay, the British are going to get a free industry. We're just going to put it there, and that's like a check to the Japanese. You know, I think that's why they added that industry in India. But the thing is, overall, like, the Axis do not have an advantage. They don't have an advantage overall because they're playing 3 players. It's like Germany and Japan are basically facing 3 countries. They have a lot more industrial capacity. And the Americans take a little bit of time getting into it. They get into the game kind of slow, but they're still a 3rd country, you know, like that jumps in there. And if the Americans are played correctly, it's really hard for the Axis to win. So balancing the Japanese is that's not really good, actually, in the long run. Because the Axis, they need something. They need some way to win. I think this version is even harder for the Axis, I think. Because of the larger oceans in the Pacific and that British industry in India. I mean, I like a bigger map. I do enjoy a bigger map than the original board game. We actually have the newer board games too. We actually have board game versions of this where the map is actually bigger than this digital version. We have a humongous version of Axis and Allies, a gigantic board game map. I forget which one it's called. But Stauffenberg, he has all the board games, man. He has every one of them. Every board game they've built, like, he has it. And he brings them over. Angwei. Miss. You'll get a hit, guaranteed. Yep. One thing that's disappointing about this digital version is there's no tech tree. In the board game, there's a thing called a tech tree. You can roll a dice, spend money and roll a dice to get technology that enhances your units. There's no tech tree there's no technology tree on this that I've seen. It's not on here. So I took over Alaska, sending my whole fleet up there. would like to take over India, but he's got a lot of stuff there. Oops, transports. I'm taunting him about the transports of his I blew up. Like, he doesn't usually leave his transports unguarded. He probably decided that 4 APC zone was worth losing transports over. He probably just, that's worth it. I'll lose 2 transports and I'll take that over. And it is kind of worth it. I forgot to land my planes again. There they are. Mobilization. 3 tanks. Put them down. Click on the unit and just right-click the space you want to put them in. LOL, you forgot to buy some? No, I blew up your transport, Stauffenberg. Japan is my only hope. I blame Germany for the state of this game right here. Now he wants to take Borneo over. I think that's another 4 IPC island. Man. So the Japanese income is really being gobbled up. They should be doing way better by now. You're supposed to get the Japanese really rolling, and they're supposed to have this tremendous income to where, like, the people attacking Germany start looking over their shoulder. Oh my god, Japan is humongous. What are we going to do about them? But no, Japan's not growing nearly fast enough. They're losing big IPC islands. Yeah, I got one. Why? He sacrificed his infantry. He doesn't want to lose his fighter. One of his fighters. He's still attacking. Trying to kill my infantry on there. By the way, the battleship can't keep shooting. They put it on the screen, but it already did its shore bombardment, so it only gets to fire once. And he got me. This part confused me a little bit because it says I was defeated. It says Borneo defeat, which is really weird. I mean, I killed his infantry. My infantry died, but all my units are gone. But he doesn't have any land units, so he can't take the space over. So I was confused. I didn't really see this color was still Japanese. I'm like, what the heck's going on? I'm like, wait, what? You know, that's what I... You had no land units. The battle hasn't started because he's talking to me. Yep, and you keep the territory. I'm like, oh, okay. Risky. He could have lost a plane doing that. He could have totally lost a fighter. He's going after my subs, the ones that retreated, but they're still there and they can be attacked again. They're destroyed. Okay. That's expensive. I'm losing a lot of material. Losing a lot of stuff in this game. Some guys down in Africa are now going up and landing in France. That was really dumb not freeing France. Well, I'm kind of new to this digital version, so getting used to the tech of running this digital game is distracting. You load them up. So basically Americans and British alike are both going to pile into France, trying to make it where I can't retake France, which is really bad for Germany. He's going to stick as many guys on there as he can. What's he doing? I don't know. He's not even worried about Alaska. He's just ignoring it. He knows it's just to psych him out, and he's got bigger fish to fry. Soviets' turn. They're starting out with a big advantage. They got... Man, I couldn't even take a space last turn. I thought maybe that tank would be ignored because I would have taken Karelia and Caucasus. So I thought maybe that little tank will be ignored by himself, you know. Nope, it's all he's got to do is attack that. In that he's attacking Bulgaria, Romania, and I got 6 tanks in there. So if he wipes it out, that's really, really expensive. That's like, that's $6 a tank. That's twice the cost of infantry, and every loss I have is going to be a $6 unit. I was hoping they'd be ignored too. I'd hoping they'd be ready for the attack next turn, but instead they're a target, an expensive target, basically. He's not bringing very much. That's all he's bringing? 2 cannons and 2 infantry? That's all he's bringing. That's strange. Oh no, that's... Never mind. That's the West Russia. That's the one guy by himself. Yeah, that's all that was. I thought that was the 6 tanks for a second. And like, no, it's like... There it is. He's probably got lots. He's bringing lots here, I'm sure. Yeah. All misses, good. One hit, I can deal with that. I get to roll 6 times. Yeah, not bad. Not too shabby. Ugh. All his 3 units all hit. Oh my god, that's bad. His 2 tanks and 2 fighters all hit. They attack it at 3 and they all got me. God. So suddenly I'm down to 1 tank. I thought I was doing really good for a second. I'm done. Man, I thought I was going to have a good fight there. I missed on the last one. Weak. I got obliterated. What happened? That was not good. I thought it was going to turn out good. He's starting to pay attention to Japan. He's moving east with 1 guy, just to guard spaces. But the British down there can try and stop Japan, so Japan's not completely unobstructed. The Germany's turn. So right now I'm buying infantry and artillery, and if you're Germany and you're buying economy units, you're buying inexpensive stuff, you're doing really bad. So I can't afford to buy tanks this turn, so I'm basically in big trouble. I'm going up to France, of course. Sending my battleship. I want to do a shore bombardment. Take 2 guys from Italy and land them. They could have walked in, but you have to bring units from the sea to be able to do a shore bombardment. So I just pick them up and land them. Let's see. Bring everything I can. 4 tanks. 2 infantry. 3 cannons. Might as well attack this tank right there. Send in that fighter. I'm gonna industrial bomb his. I decided to industrial bomb the Caucasus for money. Maybe we can run the Soviets out of money. See, I rolled and $1 to $6. I did $1 of damage, and this like threw me off. Like my bomber got blown up. I'm like, I was sure their AA gun got destroyed. So this is really weird. I lost a bomber basically, doing 1 IPC bomber damage, and I was like really like what? Because there's no AA gun in there. It got killed in the battles. And I wrote, dude, where's the AA gun? I was like really flabbergasted. There's no AA gun in that space. This is a conversation earlier. I'm still talking about submarines and something I misunderstood. So the submarine conversation is really dumb. So I'm not even going to highlight the text. Then I wrote again, what WTF? There is no AA gun in the Caucasus. There is no AA gun. Is the Caucasus? Never mind. It doesn't matter. But he already replied. The AA gun shoots against ground attack. The industry has its own AA versus industrial bombing. I didn't want to like delete it all, so I just sent it. So that's something I didn't even know. I didn't know that an industry automatically has its own AA gun, but it only fights against industrial bombing attacks. That's all it does. So every industry has its own built-in aerial defense. So then they have extra AA guns that attack again. They defend against planes attacking ground units. So if you send in fighters to blow up tanks, and there's an AA gun there, it defends against ground attack, basically. Aerial ground attack is basically it defends against. And those AA guns get destroyed in battles and stuff. They actually get blown up. And if you want them again, you have to repurchase them. But the industry AA is like automatic. It's just assumed that it's there. Something I didn't know. Had no clue. In the board game version, the AA guns don't get destroyed. They get captured. They're little white units. They don't take part in the battles. And if you take over a space, you capture the AA gun. And you can have it for yourself. That's just how it worked. The AA guns just did not get blown up in the original board game. You could buy more, then you could just have the whole board filled with them. They never got destroyed, and there was just all these AA guns changing hands. That's just how the original game was. Got a hit, good. Ooh, one hit. Yeah. The odds are not in my favor, but I gotta try and take France over. Good. Very good. He'll probably take my tanks out though. Yep, so I don't take the space over. He's got one fighter left there. Got one fighter. I almost took it over. I should have brought more. I should have brought a little bit more. And I realized about here that I had a tank in northwestern Europe that I could have brought. I was going to leave that infantry there anyway, but I also had these two fighters in the Baltic states I should have brought. That would have made the difference. That was a big mistake. I made a lot of mistakes in this game. Hey, I didn't lose anything. That's rare. Yeah, those guys should have joined in the attack on France. And I realized that's when I realized I was trying to land them, and I'm like, I didn't even move those planes. Those planes did not even take part. They should have been in France helping. And that tank in northwestern Europe could have went too. I think I didn't move either. I thought I had enough. Because I wanted to move him east. I wanted to move that tank east. That's what I was thinking. But there's no reason for them fighters not to have joined. That's what I typed in. Should have used those 2 other fighters. I think I remember what I was thinking with the tank. I wanted him to go east because I still wanted to do things out east. But there's no reason for the fighters not to take part. We didn't even fight North Africa. We didn't even contest anything down there. Fighter should have come, damn it. Yeah. This game's about over. It's pretty much, I'm just gonna like buy my units, place them. I'm gonna forfeit. He doesn't know it, but I'm already gonna forfeit the game, I think. This is past tense. I'm talking like it's going on right now, but this is actually a couple days after the game. I'm adding my commentary. Forfeit game. Forfeit and leave. Oh yeah, you forgot to bring those. Germany got beat up. So that's it. I pretty much lost badly. Germany got beat.
Aim! Long live sacred Germany!